Hello, welcome to my self-healing channel. You made this far. Today is our last virtual counseling session on how to manage depression. Today we're putting it all together, all the knowledge, all the wisdom, all the techniques that we've been talking about. Let's put it together. If you watch until the end, you're gonna get great understanding of how coping skills work, and you're gonna feel and think better about yourself. So let's dive in. Hello, my name is Hong Jung. I'm a psychotherapist based in Los Angeles, California. And we've been having a counseling session virtually with the purpose of managing depression. And I appreciate your effort and time and willingness to heal yourself from depression. I know this is an ongoing journey. This is not a one-time process. And I like to say that self-healing process is also the lifestyle change. And we've been talking about different techniques that you can put into your lifestyle. And this is a lot of work, I understand. So let's keep it going. Like always, let's review first. How would you describe your mood lately, looking at past week or past 2 weeks? And I'll give you time here. Alright, let's take a moment to fill out the inventory for depression, PHQ-9, Patient Health Questionnaire 9. Down below in the description box, there's a link to PHQ-9. So go ahead and take your time to fill it out so that we get an idea which symptom has been managed, which symptom has been decreased or increased or the same. So please take your time to fill it out looking at past week or past 2 weeks. Alright, let's compare your score with the previous scores. Is your score higher or lower? What has helped you manage your depression? Switching gears, what caused your depression? In our last session, we talked about a visualization exercise for self-regulation called container exercise. Did you get to use it? If so, when, where, why, and how did you use the container exercise? Take a moment to answer this question. To evaluate the effectiveness of your coping skill, the behavior techniques, cognitive techniques, and visualization exercise, let's check in physically, emotionally, and mentally. First, after using your coping skill, what physical, emotional change did you notice? Did you notice more tension or less tension in your body? If so, I want you to point out the body parts that you felt relaxed or tense. Let's describe them more. And what happened to your emotions after using your coping skills? Did you feel less depressed, less frustrated, less anxious, or more anxious, more depressed, or more emotional? Let's take a moment to look back and see what happened after using your coping skills. And then let's take a look at your cognitive state, your mental state. Do you remember the pace of your thinking process, the order of your thoughts, and timeline of your thoughts? So what happened to your thinking process, the overall quality of your thoughts after using coping skill? After using your coping skill, did you notice that your thinking process become slower, or faster, or neutral? After using your coping skill, did your thoughts become more organized or disorganized? And then, lastly, after using your coping skill, were you able to bring your thoughts into the present moment? Or were your thoughts in the past? Or your thoughts were in the future? Let's notice that timeline of your thoughts. And I'll give you time here to watch and observe the overall quality of your thoughts after using your coping skill in the past week or past 2 weeks. And let's talk about your progress. On a scale of 0 to 10, how much progress did you make? 10 being the most progress you can make, and 0 being the no progress at all. So what number would you like to give yourself? Objectively. So looking at past week or past 2 weeks, let's take a moment to look at your progress. And what number would you like to give yourself? As a human being, we strive to thrive. So, with that progress that you made, what can you do to increase your progress? So so that you get to 10. If your number is 10 already, what can you do to maintain the same level of your progress? So can you tell me about the specific steps or actions that you can take so that the progress can be more and more? And tell me about that. And I'll give you time to think about specific actions or steps that you can take to improve your level of progress. And I'll give you time here. Alright, today is our last session on how to manage depression. And you made this far again. And I'm really proud of your progress. So let's keep moving. Today, we're putting it all together, all the techniques that we talked about and all the wisdom that you gain, all the information that you're using to your advantage. So we are using one of the CBT skill called behavioral experiments to put it all together. And I'll walk you through each step to put it all together. And here's how. The name of the game behind behavioral experiments is testing out your thinking and behaviors so that you can identify and reinforce the positive and adaptive thinking and your behaviors. Here's an example of how I use behavioral experiments. So the other day, my boss called me and wanted to talk to me about something. So my instinct was, oh, I'm so nervous because I'm not a great employee for this company. What if I messed up? That was what my mind was saying to me. That creates that nervousness, that creates anxiety inside, around my heart. And I also noticed my thinking process was very fast and very disorganized. So I used my cognitive technique. So I described the whole thinking process in a word. And noticed that I was having an insecure thought. And then I repeat to myself 5 times. I'm having an insecure thought, 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 I'm having an insecure thought. After acknowledging my insecure thought, I decide to put my insecure thought or belief to test in reality. And here, I'd like to walk you through each step that you can try. And you can actually do it with me. So first step is to write your whole thinking process in a 1 sentence. In my case, I had a thought about getting fired. I had a thought about getting yelled at my boss. So 1 sentence about my whole thinking process is I am incompetent. So that's my core belief. I am incompetent. So I want you to think about mildly stressful moment. Then I want you to take a look at your thinking process. And then I want you to label the whole thinking process in a 1 word. And let's get down to your core belief. That 1 word that you describe the whole thinking process, what does it say about you? And you can use I statement to come up with your core belief. I am blank, I am not blank, I can't blank. So I'll give you time to think about mildly stressful situation and come up with the 1 word to describe the whole thinking process. And using I statements, what is your core belief? What is your negative core belief associated with that mildly stressful situation? What does it say about you? What does the whole experience say about you? And I'll give you time here. I know it can be very confusing. So I'd like to give you examples of positive and negative core beliefs for your reference. In the down description box, there's a link to a handout regarding the examples of core beliefs. Take a look at that and choose your negative core belief about the mildly stressful situation. The next step is to rate the strength of your negative core belief on a scale of 0 to 10. 10 being completely true, 0 being completely false. So when you repeat that negative core belief to yourself, how true does that feel to you on a scale of 0 to 10? Again, 10 being completely true, 0 being completely false. And you can also ask your body how your body responds to that negative core belief. When I say I am incompetent, I notice that my heart starts pounding. I notice that kind of my shoulder gets tensed up. So what does that mean? How intense that feeling? Maybe you can connect dots between your physical sensations and how true that negative core belief feels to you. The third step is to conduct behavioral experiment in order to find if your core belief is true or not. So my plan was to prepare a set of questions so that I can ask my boss or other supervisor regarding my work ethic and job skills. In this step, it is important to be very specific about your plan. So here's a technique I can maybe suggest. It's called 5 W's and 1 H. What, where, who, when, why, and how. So my plan was to prepare 10 job performance related questions to ask my boss during my supervision time at his office. I wanted to ask other supervisors the same questions via email. Engaging in a behavior experiment is very jarring and mentally very challenging. Before I jump into behavior experiment, I practiced this container exercise that we talked about in our last session so that I can feel calm and relaxed enough to jump into the experiment. Before you conduct your behavior experiment, also check in with yourself. If you're physically, emotionally ready to do it. If not, do your self-regulation exercise, do your coping skills so that you can feel calm, you can feel regulated enough to engaging in behavior experiment. So I approached my boss and other supervisor and asked them about my productivity rate, my job skills, my work ethic, my communication styles, so on and so forth. By the way, you can see this behavior experiment as the value-based behavior in a way. Because I approached my negative core belief by using honesty, which is one of my values. Next step is to evaluate the results. By having an honest conversation with my boss and other supervisors, I was able to get feedback. I noticed that 80% of the feedback that I got was positive or neutral, and 20% of the feedback was negative. With the result, in my case, the feedback I got from my boss, I was able to re-rate the strength of my negative core belief. Before my behavior experiment, my number was 8. I was 80% believed that I was incompetent. Looking at the result, my number got down to 2 because I got 20% negative feedback. And then I checked in with myself again, physically, emotionally, and cognitively. So based on the result I got, and the new perception on my negative core belief, I noticed less tension around my shoulders, my breathing got slower, I felt relief, my thinking process got slower, organized, and my mind was in the present moment. The final step in this process to identify your positive core belief, because we want to have a balance in our thinking, right? So looking at the result I got, I come to realize that I am competent. That was my positive core belief. And then you rate the strength of your positive belief on a scale of 0 to 10. 10 being completely true and 0 being completely false. Here's a little extra step that you can apply. Our goal is to get to 10 on our positive belief, right? So you can write down actionable ideas to reinforce your positive core belief. So in my case, the actionable ideas include taking an extra training or taking classes, reading books about different therapeutic approach, practicing self-care, or making videos, doing a YouTube, so that I can feel good enough. You know, it's about actions that you take so that you reinforce your positive belief. After engaging in your behavior experiment, I want you to take time to come up with 3 actionable ideas for further practice on your positive core belief. Alright, that's it for today's session, and thank you for watching me through this 5 virtual counseling session. And it was my pleasure being part of your healing journey virtually. And one statement that sums up all our session is to move your body to move your mind. Because our body and our mind coexist together. A lot of times we just focus on our mind to fix our problems or come up with the positive thoughts. However, without any actions, what we are doing with our mind is just a thought. We need to move our body to make some kind of change in our life. Then our mind just follow our actions. The changes that you experience will help your mind organize your thoughts and let go of your worries, depression, or anxiety, or other emotions. I hope that through our sessions together, you notice shift in your mind and your body. And remember, move your body to move your mind. I wish you the best of luck on your healing process. Take care of yourself and do your healing every day.